Welcome to the Jameela Adams Experience podcast. It's a place and a space for women over 40 to be inspired, encouraged, and heard. Your host, Jameela Adams, will talk about how life be lifing and how to find joy when overcoming challenges. You're invited to join the experience. Hey everyone, thank you for joining this week's episode. I'm so glad that you're here. And because this week I've been going over relationships with family and things of that nature, I'm going to continue it and talk about friendships and how to have a small circle of friends and how to grow and nurture that relationship. See, I remember growing up as a kid, I wanted to be everyone's friend. I remember I wanted to be popular, especially in high school, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm glad I didn't have that. Because, as you grow and mature, you realize you don't need such a large circle of friends. It's best to keep it small, like anywhere between 4 to 8 people that you can rely on and trust. As I've gone through different relationships with men and women throughout my lifetime, I've resigned to the fact of keeping a core group of individuals that have brought me joy and peace. Honestly, peace is the biggest thing. If you can find people that bring peace to you, keep them. Because you definitely don't want people that are always negative, who always bring that vibe of I'm better than you or anything like that. You just want someone that brings joy and peace. So having a small circle of friends can be rewarding, and to be honest with you, it keeps down the drama and the bullshit going on in your life. I know it works for me because as I've gotten older, I had to cut people off. And it's not that they were bad, it's just that certain things they did weren't that great. And we're all adults here, and I shouldn't have to police you on your behavior. And the other thing too about that is the reach that they have. They're like grapevines. Their hands and feet or whatever are always moving, and sometimes it can be towards something negative. I had this one friend. She was really cool in certain aspects, but she wanted to always divulge in something that I personally couldn't agree with. And after a while, I just had to cut her off because there are certain things that she did I didn't agree with, and I don't want to have that sully my reputation. And so that's the other thing too. As we get older, we have to look at our friends and think, what is the impact are they having on my life? And is it something I will be proud of and be happy to say that this person represents me? Because think about it, we all represent each other when we go out. And so I didn't want that, so I had to let that relationship go. So with that being said, you do have to cut down on the drama and the bullshit and deal with other things that are going on. So having a small circle of friends will allow for you to be vulnerable because it gives you a safe space that is free from judgment and ridicule. Now, it may seem like I'm judging, but I'm not, as far as the person I was talking about. The thing is that no matter what we do, no matter where we go, we're always going to be judged and looked at accordingly. And it's not cool, but it's the hard reality of it. If your friend's acting like a dick in person and you're with that person, what's going to happen? People on the outside are going to automatically assume that you're acting like this as well, and that could be furthest from the truth. So you just have to be mindful about who your friends are. So anyway, having a small circle of friends will allow you to have a better support system. And when life gets tough, you have people that are genuinely there to help you, to lift you up, and to encourage you by either sending you a text message or giving you a call or even inviting you out for coffee or dinner because they want to see you do well and they want to make sure that you're okay. And that's the thing about having a small circle, because there really isn't a lot of people to focus on. So you can actually make meaningful conversations with people within the group. The other thing about having a small circle of friends is that you can build stronger and enduring friendships. And like I said, the more that that circle gets smaller, the better off throughout your lifetime with them you'll be, because you can focus on that person at that time and vice versa. And you all have intertwined conversations within the group. So the other thing too that I find great with keeping a small circle of friends is that you have this awesome community that you've built. And as time progresses, if there's children along the way or marriages and so on, even in divorce, you rally around your friends to build and strengthen them. And the other thing too is like your kids become their kids and vice versa. They'll be like their nieces and nephews and so on. And everybody looks after each other. And that is the most amazing thing about having that small circles, because you can focus on the group. And what's better for the group is better for all. So the other thing I've found with having a small group of friends is that you're able to have more fun with them. You'd be able to go out to dinner or celebrate someone's birthday or celebrate their wins. Case in point, my best friend recently received her CNA certificate, and another girl in our group, and I took her out for brunch at a winery, and we just built her up and loved on her and say, we so happy for you, is your accomplishments and everything like that. And that's one of those things you just do. You just want to take time out and build each other up and lift each other up. And even if they're going through a dark space, and unfortunately that's happened to me, I had to listen to a friend talk about me, or tell me about myself, I should say, tell me about myself, and I didn't want to hear it. But it was something I needed to hear. I didn't want to hear it, but it was something I needed to hear. And that feedback basically caused me to look within myself, and I had to learn to regain my self-worth. Because of that, I was able to have a better outlook on my life, and I appreciate her for taking the time out to talk to me about it, because I was going into a negative space. So that's one of the things about having a small group of friends, is that you have this community and you cherish the memories that you've created, and you just want to nurture it and let it build. And by the time you're in your 60s, 70s, whatever, and you can look back on your friendships and say, that was one of the best things that happened in my life. And that's the joy of having a small circle, because you're there for each other. You are celebrating each other, and you can lift each other up. So ultimately, it's a positive impact on your life. Your friends are there to make you a better person, and vice versa. You learn from them, they learn from you. And throughout your lifetime together with them, you will see, or you should see, growth and change in your behavior, your attitudes. And not saying that you have to be on the same brain with them, because everybody's different. But if you have I guess you could say, the core beliefs on treating each other with fairness and kindness, to always look after each other as best as you can. And if you have a disagreement, you air it out, but you show tact sometimes, because some people respond better to blunt honesty. But the whole point is that you have to be there for your friends and vice versa. And appreciate them, because there's going to come a time they may not be around, which is sad. I mean, that's how life is. But, appreciate them while they're here. So I have a challenge for you. Go to your friends or look at your friends and your relationship with them, and do they have a positive, or do they create a positive, loving, and joyful environment for you? Do they lift you up in times of need and in times of happiness? Do you guys lift each other up either way? Do you celebrate each other? And if you do, tell them you love them and you thank them for being your friend. So until next week, I want you to be inspired, be inspiring, be encouraged, be encouraging. But most of all, I want you to be you, and I'll chat with you next week.